Hi, welcome to Whittling Tips. In today's video, we are going to look at how to carve a cylinder from a square block. And you might be thinking, why do I want to carve a cylinder from a square block? Well, a cylinder is the first step in a lot of different projects that you might do. So for example, when I carve a little plant like this, the first thing I do is round it off into a cylinder. Uh, Even when I'm carving something like a little face, what I'm doing is I'm rounding off the front of that. When I'm carving a gnome, I'm making a cylinder out of the top of that hat and then I'm shaping it to what I want. So there's any number of reasons why you might do that. It's a helpful shape. Even on these eggs, the first thing that I do really is to round them off. And so rounding off the sides and the corners is really a helpful first skill. And if you've watched some of my other beginner wood carving or whittling lessons, you've seen this a little bit. And if this feels a little bit redundant, I'm sorry, but this is, I think, a helpful skill to pick up as a beginner, independent of any project that you're working on. So what I do in order to round that block is I start by, and I'm just estimating here, a third of the way across each face of the wood. So I'm marking a line a third of the way across, splitting each one of those up into thirds. And I'll show you why in just a minute. Yeah. So let's get those marked off. And the reason why I'm doing that, it will be revealed if we look at the top. So if I connect these corners like this, like this, like that, and like that, then when we look from the top, instead of seeing a square, what we will have is an octagon. And an octagon is closer to a circle than a square was. So what I will do to round a square block into a cylinder is start by marking like that. And even if I'm doing just the top part of it, I'll mark those three sections off. I'll do the whole block today, but you might just do the top. And then what I'm going to do is just flatten each corner down to those lines that I made. Okay, I do that by pushing on one side until it's flat, then I turn it around, I go the other direction until that's flat. Okay. And I'm just going to continue that on all four sides. I'm doing this quickly for the sake of time. You might spend more time on this and make more cuts, and that is okay. So down on one side until it's completely flat, turn it around and go the other way until it's flat on the other side. So what I have at this point is an octagon from the top. What I want to get to is a circle. So I'm closer to it, right? And the next thing that I can do is now I've got all of these hard corners. I'm not going to draw on them like I did the big hard corners, but all I'm going to do is go along each one of those hard corners until I get about halfway across the flat faces on either side. I can do that there, and then let me do it on this next one next to it. And you can see that then I'm left with just a little one in the middle. I can kind of run over that, and I've created a round edge there. Turn it around the other direction, do the same thing on those two and there. As you can see, the bottom of my block has been rounded off. And that's it. I'm going to continue that on all sides. If I do an octagon first, typically with, well, any size of block of wood that you're going to be able to hold in your hand, you really, after you do the octagon, only have to remove the hard corners one more time. And then you will be rounded off. And again, I'm just doing this really quickly. It's not perfect for the sake of time to show you what this would look like. Taking all those hard corners off. Of course, if the wood starts to break, I'll flip it around the other way and do that. All right, so now I've got a nice cylindrical shape that I can take and turn into another shape if I want to. And of course, some people carve from dowels and things like that. That's totally fine. Get yourself a round piece of wood. But a lot of times, well, I love the facets that you get on this, right? It looks hand carved, right? Not machine tooled to be round. And it gives you options to be able to leave different parts sticking out or things like that. So that is how you carve a cylinder from a square block. Thanks for watching and happy whittling.